This episode has been brought to you by me and my business, Lauren Grace Inspirations. I am a channel of the light and work with spirit guides, angels, the higher self, and passed over loved ones to provide you with support, clarity, and encouragement. Using oracle cards, mediumship, and clairvoyance, my readings will leave you feeling comforted and empowered. I have various reading options available, ranging from 30-minute readings to 60-minute readings to group sessions. I also work with professionals to help them gain clarity in business and life purpose. To book a reading with me, simply head to laurengraceinspirations.com. And welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, I'm Lauren Grace. I'm the owner operator of Lauren Grace Inspirations. I'm a business and life mentor, a medium, and I'm also the host of the Afterlight podcast. So new episodes for that podcast drop every single Thursday, although I do have mini episodes that do go live during the week. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. I can see everyone's trickling in. I got to tell you right off the bat, I have a spirit here. It's an older man. I really feel like there's an army connection here. So it's really interesting. I wanted to bring it up because sometimes what I do is I just kind of don't really look to see whether or not I've got a spirit here. I just wait to see who I connect to. And then, spirit comes through. But today I thought I would try something a little bit different. So if you have a connection to an older man in spirit, I do feel like there's some kind of American connection here. I don't know whether or not he is American, but I'm definitely getting an American connection. So I'm getting that because they want to talk about the flag. He also made reference to some political figures in America. So that's why I'm really coming to America here with this guy. He's also dressed in a really dark green and he's got a lot of medals. He's very proud. I feel like there's like a Kate connection to him, a Kate B, like a B with the last name, KB. KB could sound like K, but I feel like I am getting a Kate connection here with this guy. I did write down that there may be a connection as well to August. We are in August, so it could be that there's a celebration or something that's happening around this time of month. Could be an anniversary passing as well for this guy. One of the things that I did want to talk about as well is I was feeling a lot really drawn to the lung area as well as to the throat area. So when I was connecting with his energy, I had a lot of pain in the throat. It really made me feel like there may be a cancer connection, quite possibly with this guy, definitely like some kind of respiratory thing and maybe an issue with the communication at the end. This guy's also coming through to me. He wants to show me that there is a man's best friend. He's got his dog with him. This dog to me looks like it's a red cattle dog of sorts, but it could be something that looks sort of similar to that. So I'm going to leave that with you for a second. If this does sound like someone that you know, I would love for you to hear about it. Remember, this is a soul that is in spirit. This is definitely an older man. I would probably put him in his 80s or 90s. That's really the way that he's presenting to me, but very proud. And there's a strong, strong, strong army connection. Sometimes when I get somebody coming through and they're dressed like that, I really feel like there's probably something to do with the career or there's something significant in the family about the army connection. Could also be a great grandfather coming through who could be opening the door as well for somebody else. All right. So if you want to let me know if that resonates with you, I do see a lot of people coming in right now. So it's very possible that you did miss that. If you are just tuning in right now, I really have a strong spirit here wanting to connect with a loved one. So again, if that resonated with you at all, please let me know. And if not, maybe just go back, listen to the beginning of this and send me a DM at a later date. Okay, so let's get to it. Normally what I do is I always start with a heart breath. I really want to do that today as well. So if you want to just take a moment wherever you are, feeling a lot of stuff going on in the head as well. I'm not sure whether or not that's connected to this guy. I want to talk about a Roger, like a Roger, an R name. So I got to bring that up. Okay. And I feel like he's distracting me. So let's just take a quick heart breath and then we'll really get into the whole thing today, because who knows what's going to happen. I told Spirit before I got in here, I was like, you know what? Let's rock this. Let's see what happens. I'm open. Let's do past lives. Let's connect to some guides. Let's do some fun stuff. Okay. So if you just want to settle in wherever you are, and I just want you to feel your sit bones on your chair. If you're driving, please don't do this, of course. Just close your eyes. And if you feel comfortable, I'd like you to put your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your left hand. And I want you to take just a couple of cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And this is really just so you and I can develop a stronger connection. And it's also for you to just arrive here in the now moment, which is the only moment that matters. So just breathing in through the nose. Out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and one more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. I feel like there's a name Grayson as well connected, which is really interesting. I haven't heard that name in a long, long time. So I feel like there's a connection with that as well. Now, sometimes when I get names, I can get them really, that's right. But sometimes it sounds like as well. Grayson sort of sounds like Jason. Yeah. So we'll kind of see whether or not anyone is connecting with that soul. Welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for sharing this live as well and really helping me to spread the word, I guess, that we're doing this live at the moment. A couple of things that I'd like to share with you before we sort of kick off and I do a reading. And just a friendly reminder as well that when I do read for somebody, it's important to me anyway that you're here. That's always what I really aim to do. So just continuing to comment and let me know that you are here would be great. Just because sometimes I like to have a dialogue, especially if we're doing mediumship. You can answer some questions for me. You can validate some things for me as well. One of the things I do want to say, though, is that if you are a spiritual professional, so if you are a professional person and you are also spiritual, you must be, because you're here today, and you are struggling at all with time management, with productivity, with overwhelm, with procrastination, with boundaries, or anything of that nature, I want you to head to the little section where I posted my information. And I'd love for you to register for my free masterclass. So as a business mentor, I work with spiritual professionals on a regular basis to really assist them in becoming more productive. And one of the reasons why I'm super passionate about this is because I strongly believe that if we can all be as productive as possible, that we can have time for self-care, then we can have time to do the things that we want to do, spend time with those that we love. And we also have the energy and the wherewithal to be able to release our products and services to the rest of the world. And one of the things that I see very often with spiritual professionals is that we sometimes get bottlenecked. Sometimes we have so many great ideas. We're not sure how to prioritize or what to do next. And so I created this powerful masterclass to assist you in really learning how to say no, learning how to quiet your mind as well, so you can focus on the most important things. So that's all there for you. And at the moment, I am running a wait list for my readings. If you are interested in a one-on-one with myself, I'm not taking any clients right now, but I have a waiting list, which is probably will be going live with that next week. We shall see. So if you want to sign up for that, then that would be wonderful. Okay. And Summer, yes, that would be great if you wanted to take the class. It's free. Seriously, you don't have anything to lose. I do talk about my amazing course as well at the end of it, but there's a lot of value to be found within that. So just go ahead and sign up. All right. So, that's right. I wanted to choose one little comment for you, one little thought today. So one of the spiritual teachers that I learn a lot from is Esther Hicks, and she does the Abraham teachings. And I found this amazing book. I think I used to own it actually when I was younger at a secondhand bookstore here. And it's just full of so many cool ideas about law of attraction and having, creating the best possible life. And so I thought I would just choose a random for you here today and I would read it for you. And then we'll go ahead and do a reading. Don't worry. You're like, girl, you've been doing a lot of talking and not a lot of reading. It's all about to happen for you. Okay. Yes. And I do feel like I have a man here, so he's still hanging out. Okay. So I went with just random page. And basically what it's talking about is this is a law of attraction or an abundance or a manifestation method. So what you basically want to do is called the scripting process. So you want to get a piece of paper or a journal. And it says here, pretend that you are a writer, and whatever you write will be performed exactly as you write it. Your only job is to describe in detail everything exactly as you want it to be. And one of the big things that Esther Hicks and Abraham teachings talk about when you're wanting to manifest an incredible life for yourself is really taking some focused time every day to sit in your workroom and to sit there and actually plan the kind of life that you want. And I'm guilty of this myself. Sometimes what we end up doing is we actually spend a little bit of time thinking about the things that aren't working as opposed to thinking about the things that are working or how we want them to be. And one of the quotes that I've heard her say many times, and I'd like to share it with you today as well, is when we know what we don't want, we know what we do want. And that is the power of understanding, that sometimes these challenges come and we go, okay, well, that's not exactly the way that I would have liked it. Like to order something else from the universe. So that's a big part about you just really aligning yourself with what's meant for you. And we know that by sometimes having to figure out, and sometimes it's the hard way and it sucks. But when we know what we don't want, then we can open up to finding out what we do want. Okay, I hear you, sir. So I want to say I kicked off the call today telling you that I have a spirit in, I have soul here. So I'm going to go over who I'm talking to at the moment, because I've got quite a few people watching now across all my platforms. And so I just want to see whether or not this resonates with you. A big part about mediumship as well is you do not need to make things fit. Sometimes we do need to find the reference, Sometimes we may get the motorcycle reference and it's not for the soul. It's actually a nod to a family member. Or we may get a name and it's not the soul, but it's a nod to a friend or a family member. Now, one of the things too, I really want to encourage you to think about is sometimes souls come through. I don't think this guy, but sometimes souls come through and they actually are trying to connect to someone who's also very close to us, who may not be our grandfather, our parent. It could be a friend or someone close to us who may be wanting to reach out. Okay, so this is who I've got in spirit. I've got an older man. He's wearing a dark olive green army uniform. I feel like there's an American connection here. He's very proud. He stands very straight and he's got medals. Now, I would say that when he passed, he was probably in his 80s and 90s. The way that he presents me, though, is like a fit 60s. So sometimes what they do, in my experience with spirit, is they show us who they want to be remembered at, not necessarily when they passed. And we sometimes see that with difficult passings as well, where people really want to focus a lot on all of the happy memories as opposed to the way that they exited. Okay. Now, when I'm connecting with this guy as well, getting a lot of different information, I feel like there's a Kate connection to him. Kate also sounds like K. There's also a Kate. I feel like it's like a KB for the name. Kate B, like a KB. There's some kind of a connection there. I also want to talk about the lungs with this guy, okay? So I was automatically drawn to the lungs, a real heaviness in the lungs, and then my throat felt really sore. So it really made me think that I was a smoker. There may be a nod to cancer here. I'm not feeling as nauseous as I sometimes do with a cancer sort of ailment, but I do feel like I want to talk about those things. Now, one of the things he's also talking about is, and he said to me, man's best friend, and he's showing me a dog. It does strike me as being like a bigger dog, kind of similar to a red cattle dog, okay? Now, I'm not a dog expert or a breed expert. So when I see him, this dog is just like a really strong outdoor, like almost looks like it would, oh, I get that. Almost looks like it would protect the farm or protect the property. It really strikes me in that way. Okay. Yes. So that's pretty much what I've got for him. I did also hear the name Roger, and I also heard the name Grayson. Could be for different souls coming through, but I always have to acknowledge what I get, because I will tell you sometimes my head voice comes in and it's like, girl, don't say that. And then I don't say it. And then that's actually what you needed to hear. So I am learning my lesson as we go. All right. I'm just going to have a quick little glimpse here into Rebecca. Welcome. Let's see. Your dad did a full military service. He was 78. He died of bronchopneumonia and he was a smoker. Okay. Thank you. Rebecca, can you let me, Can you let me know if there was any kind of connection as well to the States, whether or not there's also a connection to a dog as well, if you want to let me know. And I'm going to see if I can get anything else coming through. I'm just going to look, listen, and feel here for a moment. Rebecca, if you want to let me know if you're on, we'll see whether or not we're connecting with someone that you know. I really want to talk about river, not the name, like an actual river. So I don't know if you live near the river, if this soul lived near the river, but I feel like a flowing river is really significant. The other thing too that sometimes happens when I get river is they also are trying to show me that there's some kind of a memorial near water. All right. Now, sometimes they show me with a bench. I'm not getting that really as clearly right now, but I do see a flowing river. So I have to acknowledge that for a moment. Okay, so Rebecca, you are saying, I know a distant relative who are American, but I don't know them. We had a black dog. Do you know whether or not he fought with the Americans, if there was an American connection at all? I'm only bringing that up because I feel like there's a strong American connection here. And the way that I'm getting that is I heard American. I also saw American flag, and I also heard a reference to a political figure in the States, and all those references bring me to the States, okay? So just going to see if I can get anything else at the moment. Otherwise, Rebecca, I'll pull a couple of cards for you, and we can see too if any more information pops in. I'm just looking and listening and feeling, but I'm coming back to the throat again. So there's definitely some kind of a communication thing here. I also feel like there's a lot of blue going on. Communication. So struggle to communicate. Was there a struggle to communicate with this soul when he died? Was he able to communicate with you? I also feel like there's like a daughter and a brother with this. Sorry, not a daughter. A daughter and a son. Rebecca, can you also let me know? Are there two siblings here in this family? Also, is there relevant to Kate? Did you make the Kate B connection possibly? And okay, your dad died in your teens. I'm sorry for your loss as well. And I got to say, I feel a lot of emotion and a lot of beauty from this soul. He's really beautiful. Yes, you have a brother. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for validating this stuff for me. That's so exciting. And sometimes what does happen, and I'm not saying it's going to happen to you, but sometimes what happens is we go away later and we're like, oh my God, that's what it was. Okay, so I don't know if there's some kind of, yes, so sometimes it could be someone's traveling to America. There is an American reference, somewhere else. So not sure about the Kate. Kate also sounds like K. I feel like it was a K and a B. So the K letter and the B, but I did feel like the K and the B went together. And I did feel like I heard Kate, might have heard K, might have heard K like the letter and the B. All right, cool. So let's take a couple of, let me take a card for you. None of these decks, I'm just having a look on my shelf here because I took down 10 decks, but none of them feel right for me right now. But I'm just going to make one of them work. We'll go with this. No, we won't. We'll go with that one. All right. So different decks have different energy, which is always really interesting. Is there a Bob, Robert, Bob, some kind of connection as well to your dad? If you want to let me know if that made sense. Oh, you don't know much about your family. Okay, that's cool. It's still exciting. Still sounds like it's a nice fit, right? So that's all good. Okay. It's really interesting that you say that, actually, because before we got on here, I pulled a card for myself, and it was all about family and connection and how family sometimes are in spirit, and they're still there and they've got our backs. And even though we didn't really get to meet them very much in this life or connect with them, that they're still there and we can still speak with them. So if you ever wanting to contact your family, I'm getting crazy goosebumps. Also a lot on my left side, which is all feminine. So could be that there's a woman coming through too. Let's just sort of see what happens. Also really coming back to the throat stuff again. So I don't know whether or not that's also for you, maybe a nod for you to, about the communication. So sometimes when we have things that are kind of like bothering us, it's really good to see if we can find a way to kind of release that. Okay. One of the ways that you can do that is you can do some journaling. Okay. You can always burn those pages after you write your thoughts down if you'd like to get rid of those worries, those concerns, those fears. I've talked about it before, but sometimes what I do as well is when I'm driving around, I'll actually talk out loud to God or creator, source, whatever you want to call it. And I'll talk out loud. And it's interesting because I'm very aware that what we think about most of the time, comes to pass. And so sometimes I feel that, oh, I really shouldn't say that I feel nervous about that, or I really shouldn't say that I feel worried, because I don't want it to come to pass. But at the same time, that's actually a really good way of being able to release yourself from that burden. So sometimes that's going to be really helpful as well. If that resonates to you to just sort of talk out loud when you're alone, I would put the windows down and really just allow a lot of that stuff to go. Okay. You keep in a lot. Yeah. And it's been difficult. Yeah. It's sort of like we have to release that stuff. So it's about doing so, I believe, in a way that's going to feel comfortable and safe for you. So the journaling is a good idea, I think, but sometimes journaling isn't the right fit as well. So maybe talking out loud, I get that, thank you. One of the things that they're also talking about for you, I get that, thank you, is that you could also look at doing some singing and some chanting. I also feel like for you, like you have a beautiful voice. And so I think giving yourself an opportunity to maybe do some singing, that would be really strong. I feel like chanting would be really good for you, because I think that what you'd be able to do is when you do some chanting, you can actually really start to get at things that are at a root level that are kind of deep down buried within. And I don't think that you need to worry at all about what it is you're chanting. You could literally just do anything. Now, one thing I will say to you is I used to listen sometimes. No, I listen to Wayne Dyer's meditation sometimes, and that's Dyer, D-Y-E-R, Wayne. And one time I remember he had a chanting meditation, and I was listening to it and I went, this is horrible. I cannot listen to this. It is like the worst sound ever. And also I was not comfortable at all with the sound that I was emitting, the whole that kind of sound, right? And so I put it to the side. And then I got the book, The Keepers of the Light Codes. And I interview Rhiannon on my show, and she's amazing. It's all about the heart opening, and it's incredible. So the Afterlight podcast, if you want to check it out. And in her book, she has these the word is escaping me at the moment, but basically initiation. Thank you. She has these initiations that you need to go through. And one of them is to essentially chant. And the idea is that you're saying, I'm waking up this I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember exactly, but it's something along the lines of, I'm waking up the creator within with this sound. And the sound was, there we go with that throat again. Hey, the sound was, right? And it said, you have to do this for 11 minutes. You go, this sound wakes up the creator within. And let me just tell you, to go from somebody who was not comfortable, and I sing and I speak, fine and everything. So it's not, for me, it was getting into that gutter that I just felt really uncomfortable with. But when I started doing that, I was absolutely blown away by the amount of time I could sustain the note, and by the feeling of just freedom. So yeah, so I'm going to leave that with you. I'll give you one card. This is a beautiful card as well for you. I think it's super appropriate for right now. And there's this beautiful card here, and it says, come to the edge. And it's card number 36. And as we can see here, this beautiful woman is just moving to the beat of her own drum. Oh, I get that. Thank you. They're also talking about the drumming and the chanting may work well for you, maybe a nice fit. So they are talking about that, but we can see the movement in this beautiful card of this woman just moving with grace and ease. And she's sort of just moving where she is, and she's dancing like there's no one watching, right? And also when we look here, there's all of these, it looks like flower petals a little bit. It's sort of on brand my shirt today, but they're actually hearts. And it's sort of giving herself this space to have, I get that, thank you, to have that creative outlet. That's what, okay, I get it. So they're talking about having a creative outlet, because when we're also blocked and we've got things that we maybe want to say or that we feel intuitively we maybe need to free. For me, I don't really like to rehash the past because it's the past. And I believe in the present and the power of the moment. So one of the things that I personally do is I just try to feel my feelings when I'm feeling them. However, when you can be creative and you can let that stuff out, then it kind of stops being stored inside you, but it needs to be out and it needs to be free. And this card, Come to the Edge, I always have to say this poem because it just blows my mind how beautiful it is, by Guillaume Apollinaire. And it says, come to the edge. We can't, we're afraid. Come to the edge. We can't, we might fall. Come to the edge. And he pushed them and they flew. I get that. And we just want you to know that you are supported, you are loved, you are enough, and you are deserving a life of joy and grace and abundance. And the world wants to hear from you. And when we've gone through adversity and difficult times and challenges, and we learn how to overcome them or begin the process of overcoming, we encourage other people to do the same. We encourage other people to share their story and shine their light. So I'm going to leave that with you. All right. Thank you so much for letting me connect with your energy. Thank you to you, sir. Getting the name Roger coming up as well again. So I'm just going to write that down. But I want to thank you, sir. And we shall move along to the next sitter. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Let's see who we've got, y'all. You're welcome, Rebecca. You're welcome. I think a lot of creative outlet will really assist you if you're also not feeling at your optimal health. We've got to get that stuff free, okay? All right, let's see what we've got. Thank you for being here. Please let me know if you're online, because I do want to connect with people who are here, because I do want to, let me see, serve as many people as I can. Okay. Oh, and Rebecca said you are getting into the drumming too. Cool. All right. I feel like Rula Bowan. Rula Bohan. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your last name correctly. Rula, if you want to let me know if you are here, please. I'm just going to look, listen, and feel if we've got anything going on in spirit. Otherwise, we'll just do some channeling for you. So I am a medium and I am a seer. So a seer is like a clairvoyant. I like to use the word seer because it's what feels right to me, and that's important to me. And a lot of the work that I do very often is when I'm connecting with someone's energy, spirit just channels through me. So it doesn't come from me, it comes from source, sort of deliver the message. So Rula, if you want to let me know if you're here, I really want to say that I'm really feeling like some anxiety and some nerves, and I'm feeling a lot of stuff going on in the throat as well. And it's funny because when we do these readings, very often I see a theme throughout the hour when I'm working with people. And sometimes when I'm working with people over the day, there'll be like a theme as well that sort of comes up. I'm also feeling a lot of pressure in the head. So whether or not you've got a lot of thoughts that are going on in your mind, I'm really feeling really heavy, and I actually don't feel good. I actually feel like really sick, like nauseous as well. So I'm not sure and tired. Okay, what's going on with you? I'm also going to see if I've got a spirit coming through here, because sometimes that's how spirit also presents to me, a lot of that physical, but I was initially intending to connect with you and feel your physicals. So I don't know whether or not you're not feeling the best, but I'm feeling like low energy, like really tired. Also feeling nauseous and a lot of pressure in the head. So I'd be curious to know whether or not you're going through something at the moment, whether or not maybe gut health is something that you need to look at. Sometimes we eat foods that really aren't sitting well with us, and we need to maybe talk to a specialist or a nutritionist about doing some kind of a cleanse and kind of clearing out our body. So I'd like to know whether or not that's resonating with you. Yes, you are here. Okay, great. And one of the things that is important is like, sorry, it's just the energy feels low. So can I get my guides to just help me lift a little bit, please? I think we've got a bit of an acknowledgement here. I'll just wait to see from Rula, but we'll just sort of see. So one of the things that you do want to be aware of is really being aware and conscientious of the foods that you're eating. You know, are these foods helping me? Or are they making me feel good? Because sometimes what we do is we're like, you know what? I shouldn't eat sugar. I'm going to do it anyway. Damn it. I'm going to live on the edge. And it's like, personally, for me, I think every now and again, go for it. But sometimes what we do is we're not aware of the foods that are affecting us, or we kind of like overdo them. And yes, so I would love to know whether or not that resonates with you. It's possibly no. I'm not a doctor. It's always important as well that if you aren't feeling great, that you do see whether or not a nutritionist or an expert can assist you in feeling better, because, you know, we're supposed to feel light and joyful and healthy. One of the things that they are talking about as well is maybe drinking a little bit more water. I have a huge jar of water here with lemons. And one of the things that I like to do personally is I boil some water, and then I'll put my lemons in this jug, and then I'll have cold water in there, and then I'll add the boiled water. So it sort of makes it warm, which maybe doesn't sound great, but it really brings out the flavors of the lemon, and it's really nice and detoxifying. Okay. So, Rula, I'm just going to see if you are saying anything to me, but I don't think so. All right, I'll pull a couple cards for you, and then we'll keep rocking here. I'm just looking, listening, and feeling as well, because sometimes spirit comes in because I'm all the clairs. So that means that the way that I can connect with my intuition, with guidance, so I can hear, see, feel, and know all that stuff. So I'm just looking to see if they give me anything. All right, cool. So one of the things that they are talking about at the moment is maybe giving yourself a little bit of a rest. Okay, it's funny because remember I was yawning. We got this card here, which is about time for a nap. So maybe you actually just need to take a little bit of a break. Maybe you've been working a lot and you're feeling like you are feeling a little bit fatigued and you need to rest. One of the things that's really important to remember as well, and this is for everyone watching, is that we go through cycles. You know, we're not always going to be on. We're not always going to be, you know, high energy. I personally don't think that we should be super ridiculously low energy all the time. Like, I really think that we need to kind of have a look at maybe our hydration and things like that, if that's happening to us. But in terms of our productivity, in terms of our, you know, general wherewithal, we do go through cycles. Sometimes we're just on fire and we're on, right? And sometimes we're like, you know what? I feel like I need to maybe rest. Maybe I need to go within. Maybe I need to think a little bit. Maybe I need to sleep and I need to dream. Maybe I need to hibernate a little bit. So it's really important that we don't compare ourselves to other people, that we really honor where we're at, and that we listen to ourselves. Sometimes for me, I'm a high achiever. I really like to be proactive and productive all of the time. And yet there are some days where I'm like, you know what? I just don't have it in me right now. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to knock off early. I'm going to go take the dog out. I'm going to go have a nap. You know, I'm going to read my book. I'm going to do different things to really just support where I'm at instead of denying where I'm at and trying to be elsewhere. So this is just me giving you permission to have a nap. Okay. All right. So when we look at the past affecting you now, you got some beautiful cards here, by the way. I hope you're excited. We've got the poised card here, and poised is number 48, and 4 plus 8 is a 12, and 1 plus 2 is a 3, and 3 is all about creativity, new ideas. Could also be about pregnancy as well. So I don't know if you are pregnant at the moment or if there's someone close to you, but maybe that's a part of the fatigue as well. Could be. Now we've got the poised card here. So this is really just a lot about, I love this. This is about empowerment. This is a lot about, we can see her and she's just really comfortable and confident in who she is. She's just like, you know what? I'm just going to be who I am. I'm showing up, non-apologies. I'm just going to be who I am. I'm going to try new things. I get that. Try new things. We've got the 3 reference here, which is about that creativity and new ideas. And, I just love I feel like this card is really significant a lot about maybe work that you've been doing, about giving back to yourself, taking care of yourself, self-care, really stepping into who you are now. And I think that that's one of the lovely things about as we age that we get to do, right? We get to step further into who we are. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when we get further into who we are, we really become more comfortable with ourselves, especially when we are on the spiritual path and we're looking at improving ourselves and open to guidance and wanting to do better. I really think that there's been a lot of work that you've done that's really allowed you to arrive into the moment where you are who you are and you feel fine with that. And I love that. That's so wonderful. I'm also feeling a bit of pain going on my right side, my right fingers. So I don't know if there's anything going on in terms of your dexterity. But fish oil will always help with that. And there's also, I don't know where you're based, but in Australia, and actually they ship international, doesn't matter. On the Afterlife cast, this episode doesn't go live for a couple months, I will admit, but I interviewed Ian White, and he's the founder of Australian Bush Flower Essences. And he's got so many beautiful bush flower essences that are there to really assist us with lots of different things, as well as physical ailments and emotional things. So, check out the website if you're interested. I don't have time to go on about it today. Okay, in the present position, and then I will move along because I notice I'm doing really long readings today. We have in the present position, we've got the new life card. And isn't that wonderful? It's kind of like this beautiful woman is sort of waking up from a long nap. Isn't that funny? So this is really talking about embracing where we are, being okay with who we are, taking a little bit of time out for us to rest and rejuvenate, and then waking up and being open and available to what life has to offer, right? And one of the things that we see here as well is we see the purple. And the purple is all about that 7th chakra. It's all about that crown chakra, that connection to source energy, that connection to spirit. And what's really cool is that when we are in alignment with who we are and we're listening to our need to maybe rest and rejuvenate or get out there and try new things, when we're listening to our own journey and not comparing ourselves to the people around us, it puts us in flow. It puts us in flow, and we're able to be used and work with the universe, who is really guiding us along this journey to really take us where we want to be, so we can do the things that we came down here to do. Now, in the future card as well, we have a soulmate card, which I love. That's so good. And this is card number 41, and 4 + 1 is a 5, and 5 is the number of change. I also look at 5 as being mid-cycle, so kind of in the middle of something. When we look here with the soulmates card, it could be a deepening of your current relationship. If you're not in a relationship, it could also be maybe a new relationship is coming for you. I personally believe we have lots of soulmates, so this doesn't necessarily need to be romantic, although I like it is, okay? But it's a deepening of that connection. So I'm going to leave you with that. Rula, I hope that you found that helpful today. And I want to thank you very much for letting me connect with your energy. Thank you. I'm just having a look at the comments as well. Thank you, everyone, for all the comments. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, and Rula, you said you're a registered nurse. Okay. So you are definitely giving a lot to people, aren't you? You are giving, 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 giving. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so glad that was helpful. Maybe have a look at those Australian bush flower essences if that feels comfortable to you. I take them all the time, and I love them. Okay, great. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to do one of my 1, 2, 3 card readings so that everyone can get a reading, and then I'll do another personalized reading or 2. So if you just want to choose card number 1, card number 2, card number 3, and I think we're going to go with the unicorns for this one today. So we'll go with the Magical Unicorns deck by Doreen Virtue, which is an old school deck. It's pretty hard to get. I got it on eBay. Rocked it. Love a deal. Love a deal. By the way, I want to encourage you, if you are a spiritual professional and you are struggling with procrastination, boundaries, time management, learning to say no, quieting your mind, I want to encourage you to sign up for my free masterclass. Now, my free masterclass is all about helping professionals to get on top of their tasks so that they can make a bigger impact here in the world. I'm a biz mentor. I say biz mentor. I'm a business and life mentor and also a medium. So I get to really marry the two worlds of spirituality as well as business. And pretty much everyone that I work with who is spiritual is also a professional. So if you are struggling at all with time management, if you are looking at being more productive, growing your business, I really want to encourage you to take my free masterclass. And also, if you are interested as well, and I do talk about it in the masterclass, I also have a powerful productivity for the spiritual professional time management course, which I've spent tirelessly, what am I trying to say here? So many hours on preparing for you. And it's how to get ahead of your tasks, prioritize all that kind of stuff. And I have an entire bonus course there for you, which shows you how to use AI, ChatGPT, to really elevate and take your business to the next level. So if you are somebody who really wants to take your business to the next level, you need to get ahead of your tasks. You need to learn how to manage your time. And those resources will assist you with that. Okay, give me a 1, give me a 2, give me a 3. Let me know where you're at, and let's pull some cards for you and give you a couple of answers. I also saw my friend Dixie on here somewhere. I want to say, what's up, girl? All right, so I got a 1, 2, and a 3. All right, people number 1. People number 1. I'd love to see who's a 1. Let me know. 1, 2, or 3. And one of the things too that I always love to remind you is that there will be something for you within this card. Okay. So for my people number 1, it says you are a healer. You have the power to help and heal others. And I love this card. There's this beautiful fairy, and she's really helping to heal this beautiful unicorn. And this is really a lot about understanding that, as healers, I get that. Thank you. They want to talk about, okay, I'll just write that down and I'll remember. As healers, healing can show up in multitude of ways. Healing can show up as somebody who sings a song, as somebody who writes lyrics or writes poetry, as somebody who actually does healing touch or Reiki, somebody who just holds presence. You may have heard that term before. Holding presence is when somebody is going through something or they're needing someone to listen to them, that you just sit with them and you are where you are. You're not wanting to be anywhere else. You hold space, you hold presence for them. Healing can really show up in so many different ways. Giving a compliment. It could even be just giving of things that maybe are no longer serving you to other people who need the support, like the people right now who are really struggling over in Maui. We can really heal the world in so many different ways. I get that. Also, the power of prayer. And if you're interested, on the Afterlight podcast, you can see it down here. New episode every Thursday. I interviewed a woman named Julie Ryan, and I've interviewed her a few times, but we had one episode where we were talking about basically when we choose our time of death, and also what happens to you when you die. And also, I think in that episode, we were talking about the power of prayer. And because she can see spirit, there was somebody who was undergoing a surgery of sorts, and there were so many souls there to support that person in the waiting room. And the fact was that that person's son had gone and asked his classmates to all pray. And so all of the souls came in. So even healing can show up like that. Okay. So, oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. So I just got like all these guides like yammering to me. Okay, I'm listening. So one of the things that they also want to talk about is, as a healer, you want to be really cognizant of your energy management, of being empathic. When we are empathic, we're very sensitive. It's kind of like the idea of you being a sponge, right? And you're absorbing a lot of things. I'm highly empathic as well. And so I didn't know that I was for well, until a couple of years ago, I never knew I was empathic. And so I didn't realize that I was picking up of the energies of the environments that I was in, or the people that I would spend time with, or even going to the mall or the grocery store. You're picking up all of the energy around you. So for example, if you go home after shopping and you're exhausted, chances are you could be empathic and you could have been taking on the energy of a lot of people. So today, I don't have time to go through all of the different methods, but on my podcast, I have an episode about shielding, clearing and cleansing your energy. You really need to be aware that that has to happen for you. You can call in Archangel Michael, you can have a salt bath, you can use sage, and you can smudge. Those are just some ways of getting started, but especially healers who are empathic, we need to learn to manage our energy. And also in my time management course, Powerful Productivity for the Spiritual Professional, I do teach you about that too in there, because I believe that if we are overrun by other people's energy, then it's affecting our ability to be productive. Okay, number 2. Here we go, y'all. Number 2. I'm going to have a drink. Okay. It says you'll know in the morning. You're like, damn it, I want to know right now. It says you'll know in the morning. So it says here, when you wake up, you'll have a better idea of what to do. Relax until then. I get that. Thank you. Okay. So they're wanting me to talk to you about, I'll remember it later. Okay. I'll write that down for a second. So when we see this in the morning, one of the things that's important to remember is that you have all the wisdom of your own personal journey within yourself. And when you work with a seer like me or someone else, of course, that what we're doing is we're channeling information from source energy, from God, from the creator. And we're assisting you in remembering and finding your own power. That's really what I believe my job is. My job is not to say to you, hey, everything's going to be all rainbows and, butterflies and all that kind of stuff. Although it is, hopefully, well, it will, because we're all learning as we go. Even if things get difficult, there's always a light and we always grow within it. However, it's for me, I'm passionate about helping you to find that truth within yourself, about you finding that answer within yourself, about me maybe saying something to you and then you going, whoa, boom, I feel that in my body. I got goosebumps. I know that to be true. You assisted me maybe in helping me to find and rediscover my own truth within myself. And I fully, strongly believe that when we go to bed at night and we wake up in the morning, sometimes we do get those answers, right? Sometimes things do look better in the morning, pretty much all the time, right? I get that. Thank you. So one of the things that they want to talk about, okay, so one of the things that I struggle with is mindset. Sometimes I can have a negative mindset and I will, spiral about things. I'm just going to put a link for you here. I don't think I put it in the chat. Already. So I'll just do it now. So I'm just going to put mindset challenge, and I'm putting that in caps just so you can see it. I'm putting a link to it. So this is a free 7-day challenge, kicks off on September 1st, where basically I email you every day and we work on a different affirmation every day. And I know I've had so many people give me feedback about how fantastic it is to really assist them and really taking control and reminding themselves of being a little bit more intentional about their day and the things that they tell themselves on a regular basis. Okay, I get it. So one of the things that they want me to remind you is that when you are thinking about something, if you are spiraling about something, if you are worried about something, what you can do is it's about you becoming the observer. So you have to notice that you're having these thoughts and you go, okay, I noticed that I'm spiraling about, I said blah, blah, blah to so-and-so 15, 20 years ago, or maybe yesterday or earlier today, and I'm spiraling. Number one, you got to cut off that energy, right? You got to cut those cords. But that aside, one of the things that you can do, and what I do is I go, you know what, girl? I say this to myself in my head, I'm going to worry about that tomorrow. And I'll sometimes just say that. maybe I'll say it a couple of times. I'll worry about it tomorrow. I'll worry about it tomorrow. I'll deal with it tomorrow, right? Or sometimes what I do is I also imagine a little trunk, a box. So you can imagine this box being however you want, gold, silver, wood, anything that you want. You design your own box for you, right? And you imagine in your imagination, writing down maybe your worry, your concern. I was mean to Sarah today. I feel bad about that. And then you go, okay, you take that, you fold it up, you put it in your worry box, you shut the lid, and you tuck it to the side. What I like to do is put sparkle light on everything so that it all just becomes high vibe. You do that and you go, I'm going to deal with it tomorrow. And let me tell you what happens is everything is better in the morning. And sometimes you go in the morning and you're thinking, well, that's actually not really a big deal. I don't know why I was making that into something so massive, because now it's like a fresh new day and it's not really bothering me now. So yeah, okay, that's number 2. Now, number 3, I feel like these are all really connected. So, if you're number 3, number 2, number 1, I just feel like it's really all for you. But anyway, number 3 is let go of stress. And I just gave you a method in order to do that right now. It says on it here, don't take on other people's stress, breathe it out, right? Don't take on other people's stress, breathe it out. That really comes back again to the whole empathic thing. Now, on my show, the Afterlight podcast, I know you're like, girl, you keep saying, girl or boy, I want you to tune in. Tune in. It is so good. There are so many gems on there. But last year, I interviewed Kiandra. You can just go and like search in the podcast, Kiandra, Kiandra. And we did an entire episode all about life as an empath. And if this is connecting with you, I really want to strongly encourage you to listen to that episode, because she gives you tips and tricks to assist you. But one of the things that she does talk about is how sometimes as an empath, we pick up on the energy of our family, of our friends, of our close loved ones. And sometimes what we do subconsciously is we go, I don't want you to suffer. I'm going to suffer for you instead. I don't want you to suffer, And actually, that's sometimes what our animals do for us, is they take on our burdens, they take on our stresses, they take on our ailments to assist us. Now, I always tell my dog, I'm like, don't you take on my stuff that belongs to me, I want to sort it out myself. I don't want you to take that. But they do. That's a big part about their job here on Earth, is to assist us with that stuff. So it's really important that you start to notice. I get that. Thank you. I'm flinging my headphones around. So it's important that we start to notice, who are the people that we're spending time with? How are they affecting me? And is that okay? And sometimes we have friends, we have family, we have coworkers who just dump all their shit on us. And we go, well, thanks for that. And then all of a sudden we go from having a good day to feeling low energy and maybe not ourselves. And so is that okay? Probably not. Can you limit your amount of time you spend with that person? Can you set some boundaries? Can you change the narrative? Instead of maybe saying, and then what happened? And then what happened? Maybe can you say, all right, can we talk about that at a later time, or whatever you need to do to have those strong boundaries to take care of your energy. Okay. Now, cutting your cords, clearing your energy and cutting your cords, working with Archangel Michael is going to be really good as well. Really assist you in releasing those stresses. It's just really important for you to just remember that you do not need to take on the burdens of everyone around you, that you do need to be responsible for your own energy. And when we allow other people's stuff to become ours, it's really ego related, and it's dramatic, and it takes us out of our power, and it takes us out of the present moment here in the now. So this is a big indication and a big reminder to remember, do not take on the stresses of other people because you got other things to do. All right, cool. So I hope you found that helpful. Yes, Vicky said it's hard when it's at work. It is hard when it's at work. So Vicky, one of the things you could do, this is a tip. Number 1, you have to notice who's affecting you in this way. Okay, so let's pretend it's Jane. Okay, Jane, the pain. Jane is causing you pain. and you have to deal with her. You're about to go into a meeting, or you sit beside her or something like that. Okay, there are a couple of different things you could do. Number one, raise your vibration before you engage with Jane. So you could listen to positive music. You could have even nice senses like citrus essential oils are really high vibes, you know. Listening to music is super key. You could wear bright colors like pinks and yellows and things like that. Really raise your energy. I tend to wear a lot of black, but I do notice that when I wear color, you have a different vibe that goes on when you're doing that. So if you know you're going to be dealing with someone who's difficult, like Jane, for example, it's kind of like setting yourself up for success. Stay hydrated. You know, it's almost like you got to be on guard. You're like, all right, I know I got to talk to Jane soon, but I'm not going to let her get me down. No, no, no. Now, one of the things that we can do when we are engaging with people who are difficult, when we are engaging with people that are causing us stress and negativity, you know, we can feel it's like stuck to us sometimes. You can imagine creating a little bit of a shield. And again, on my podcast, I have a whole episode about this. But when I work with clients, I get them to design their own shield. It's like a protection thing. And so when you're talking to somebody who's negative or challenging, in your head, you just go shield, shield, shield. And it's kind of like you go boom, boom, boom. And you like put this, not imaginary, but you put this energetic shield on. And then anything that they're kind of doing really starts to bounce off of you and go back to them. And then you're not taking it on. Now, on my show, I had a really amazing episode with a woman named Susan Corso, Corso. And we talked all about rainbow light protection, which is an exchange of energy. I'm not going to get into that today, but it was amazing. It may be something that you want to look at thinking about as well. Now, when we're working with negative people, and we have to be around them because we don't always get to choose our coworkers, although on a subconscious level, they're teaching us something. Sometimes they are showing us parts of ourselves that we need to maybe heal or we need to release. You know, if Jane's being annoying about something, it's like, oh, wait a minute, do I get annoyed at myself in that? Can I just say in my head to Jane when she's venting or being negative, peace be with you? Peace be with you, peace be with you, peace be with you. Can you say that on repeat? Or can you start to notice all of the beautiful qualities, I get that, thank you, that you like about Jane? I love how Jane shows up to work early. I love how she is constantly like up in arms about stuff because she just wants things to be done well. Like she's got that integrity. She wants things to be done at a high level. I love that. Can you start to turn it around maybe and see these positive aspects of these people? Now, one of the things that Spirit's also telling me to focus on or share with you today here is that when we say that Jane is negative, and Jane's fake, right? I just pulled that name from the sky because it rhymes with pain, Jane. And if you're a Jane, I love you. This has nothing to do with you. But when we are aware that maybe there's somebody that we work with that's negative, that causes challenges and issues with us, and we know, oh God, they're going to be annoying today. They're going to be negative. What happens is they start to act like that. They start to show up this way. And then we're going, what? They're playing exactly the role that we had designed for them. So when we can turn it around and when we can go, you know what? I'm going to stop looking at all the things that annoy the shit out of me about you. And instead, I hope I can say shit on live. Oh, well, I did 3 times. When we can then go, you know what? I'm going to actually take I'm going to intend every day. This is something I'd love for you to try. Let me know how it goes. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a sneaky on my phone or on a piece of paper. I'm going to write down 4 or 5 things that I really like about you. Like I was saying earlier, and see if you can change the narrative and see if they start to behave a little bit differently. So I would love to know if that made sense for you. And yeah, we're done. We're done. I'm out of time. So I do want to say as well that on my show, I have so many tips and tricks and solo episodes and incredible guests to assist you on your spiritual journey. I can see some of the comments here, people struggling with being an empath, people struggling with prioritizing, people with managing their own energy, people feeling the energy of other people and not knowing how to shift that stuff. It's like there are tools for you. Everything on my podcast is there to help serve you, to help you to remember to find that truth within yourself. So I really want to strongly encourage you to go and do that. I will put a link now to my podcast. Now, this is connected to Podbean, which is where I host it. So the Afterlight podcast, but you can listen to it on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast is going to be there for you. Okay, so thank you so much for all your time today, and I will be back again next week. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. I know it was a lot of channeling today, not a lot of mediumship, but hopefully next week we'll do a little bit more mediumship or past lives or guides. I guess we'll see what Spirit has to say. All right, thank you so much for being here, and I want to wish you a beautiful, beautiful evening. Good night. This episode has been brought to you by me and my business, Lauren Grace Inspirations. I am a channel of the light and work with spirit guides, angels, the higher self, and passed over loved ones to provide you with support, clarity, and encouragement. Using oracle cards, mediumship, and clairvoyance, my readings will leave you feeling comforted and empowered. I have various reading options available, ranging from 30-minute readings to 60-minute readings to group sessions. I also work with professionals to help them gain clarity in business and life purpose. To book a reading with me, simply head to laurengraceinspirations.com.